Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever in the world you're listening from. This is Salman, and I would like to welcome you to our very first diary entry. Now, I'm sure some of you might guess who I'm going to talk about first, since we're working with the book, The Lessons from the Men and Women Around the Messenger by Khalid Muhammad Khalid. So the companion I would love to talk about is none other than Salman Al-Farsi. Now, we know him as the man who helped in the project of the trench that saved the Muslims in Medina from the Quraysh. What else do we know about him? And why is this man a very great man? Great companion of the Prophet. So let me take you into his life and let's see. So Salman Al-Farsi comes from Isfahan. It's a place in Jai, and he was the most beloved son of his father, who was actually a figure of high esteem among the people. But they used to worship fire. He devoted himself to the worship of fire until he became the custodian, which was lit and was never allowed to be extinguished. Now his father was so rich that he had an estate. So one day he sent him there. On his way he found a Christian church and he heard them praying. He went in and saw what they were doing. He was so impressed when he saw their prayer, and he said, "This is better than a religion." He didn't leave them until sunset, and he didn't go to his father's estate, nor return to his father until he sent people to search for him. Salman asked the Christians about their affairs and prayers and the origin of their religion, and they said it originated in Syria. So he said to his father when he got back, all excited, "Dad, I passed by a people praying in a church of theirs, and I was so impressed by their prayer, and I could see that their religion is better than ours." His dad questioned him, and he also questioned him, and there was a back and forth, and at the end the dad had to put fetters on his feet and lock him up. But he had good people around him, and he was able to send something to the Christians, and he said he had entered their religion, and he told them that whenever somebody is coming from Syria, he would love to travel with them. So the day came and he broke loose from the iron fetters and ran away. So when he got to Syria, he asked about their most learned man, and he was told that he was the bishop, and the bishop, we all know, is the leader of the church. So he went to him and told him his story and started living with him. He lived with him, he served with him, praying, and he was learning. But this particular bishop was not the first to on to his religion, because he used to gather money from the people to distribute it. But he would keep it for himself. Then one day he died. They appointed a new leader in his place, and Salman said he had never seen a man more godly than this man in his religion, and he was so active in trying to get the goods for the hereafter. He loved him more than he ever loved any other person before. When the time of death came, Salman asked him, "To whom would you recommend me? And to whom would you leave me?" He said, "Oh, my son, I do not know anyone who is on the path I am, who leads the kind of life I lead, except a certain man in Mosul." When he died, he went to that man in Mosul, he told his story. When death approached him too, he asked, the man directed him to a pious man in Deen. He got there too. He stayed for as long as Allah wanted him to stay. After a while, he still had to he kept going to different people till he met somebody, and he said that when the time of death came to that person, he said, "Oh, my son, I know no one anywhere who is on the path we've been on so far that I can tell you to go to him. But we have been we've been overtaken by an era where there will be a prophet on the prayer creed of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So you migrate to a place with palm trees. If you can be sincere to him, then do so. He has signs which will be manifested. One, he does not hate of charity, yet he accepts gifts. And between his shoulders is a seal of prophethood. When you see him, you know him. So this was the last thing this man said to him before he passed on. So later a caravan passed and Salman was told that the caravan was going to the Arabian Peninsula. So he exchanged his sheep and cattle so that they could take him. But these people were evil and they sold him to a Jew. So where they took him to was Wadi Al-Qura. He saw so many palm trees and he was thinking that was where he was supposed to go, but it wasn't. He went to another Jew. He continued this way until he was sold to another Jew from Bani Qurayda, and then they went to Al-Madinah. By Allah, Salman said, he had hardly seen it when he knew that this was the land described to him. So he stayed with his Jew, hoping to hear from the news about the Prophet coming. So a Jewish man came and, they came to visit his boss or his slave master, as we call it. And then he talked about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And then he gathered, Salman was so excited, he fell from the tree while he was listening. So later at nightfall, he went out until he came to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at Quba. So he saw him sitting down with some of his companions and he said, "You are in need and a stranger. I have some food which I intend to give out in charity." Remember, charity was the first sign. And he said, "I thought you most deserve it, so I've come to you with it." He put the food down. The Prophet ﷺ said to his companion, "Eat in the name of Allah." He abstained from eating. So you see, that first sign has been done. Then he went back another day. He carried some food and he said, "Oh, I can see that you do not partake in charity, and I have something which I want to give you as a present." He placed it before him and he said to his companions, "Eat in the name of Allah," and he ate with them. So that was the second sign. He eats from gift, he takes gift. So he stayed for a while, maybe to avoid suspicion or something, I don't know. He stayed for a while. Then later again, he came down and he there was a burial and the Prophet was surrounded by his companions. He had on two garments. One was around his shoulder and he was wearing the other. So he greeted him. Then he tried, stretching and trying to see it, while the Prophet ﷺ noticed him. He, as gentle as he is, threw his garment aside off his shoulder, and behold, it was the sign between his shoulder, the seal of prophethood, just like the Christian monk has described. Salman saw this and was so excited. He staggered to him and he was weeping. Can you just imagine the emotions he went through? Like, it was not for naught. Everything he went through was just for the right person, like for the right Deen. He suffered all this, all because of Allah. Now we think about ourselves, like, what exactly have we suffered because of the cause of Allah? Think about it. Now, when he became a Muslim, he was not able to take part in some battles like Uhud and Badr. So the Prophet ﷺ asked him to go into terms with his master so that he can free him. So Allah and some other companions assisted him, and he became a free Muslim. And then he participated in the famous battle we all know him for, the Battle of Al-Khandaq. Now, what exactly happened in this Battle of Al-Khandaq? On the day of Al-Khandaq, he showed wisdom. Nobody has infinite wisdom. What happened on that day? There was a trap. Would I call it a trap? It was an ungodly war that was planned. The Quraysh army and the allies will attack Al-Medina from outside, while Bani Qurayda, which is actually the same hometown, what would we call it, of the Jew who was Salman's master, will attack from within, behind the ranks of Muslims, and then they will fall prey and be crushed. So can you imagine? Attack from the front and attack from within. It was an ambush. Now this battle was in the year AH5. Okay, so what now happened on this day? So the Prophet ﷺ was actually unaware. They were unaware, and till when they saw the huge army marching towards them. Just imagine 24,000 fighters behind the command of Abu Sufyan and Uyayna bin Isan. That's my own Salman in the background. They were advancing to Madinah to storm it and to get rid of the Prophet and his companions. So now this was not just the Quraysh, they were in alliance with all the tribes, these people who had been threatened by Islam. It was the last and decisive attempt embarked on by all of the enemies of the Prophet. So the Muslims found themselves in a precarious situation. The Prophet assembled his companions for a consultation. And then a long-legged man with flowing hair, from whom the Prophet ﷺ brought great love, Salman Al-Farsi, held up his head, took a look at Al-Medina, which was surrounded by hills, mountains, and exposed open country, which could easily be broken by the army. Salman actually had much experience in warfare and his tactics in Persia. So he told the Prophet ﷺ something which the Arabs had never seen before. That was digging a trench in the exposed places around Medina. And that actually saved them, because Allah knows what could have been the position of Muslims if they had not done the trek. These Quraysh people, when they saw the trench, they were so stunned, and they actually camped outside for a month, unable to take Medina, until Allah sent them one night a storm which devastated their tents and tore them asunder. When Abu Sufyan announced to his forces that they should return where they came from, they were actually despondent and frustrated. I can only imagine for self-done, right? So, this is a very brief story introducing Salman Al-Farsi. In our second entry, inshallah, we'll continue his story. He is not just about the trench. There is so much more to this great man. So here's my short reflection from this part of the story. Salman's story actually reminds me that those who truly seek Allah will definitely find Him, no matter how far they start from. This is a reminder to myself first. Like, no matter where I am right now in my Iman, if I truly seek Allah, He will definitely find me. It doesn't matter how far away I think I am from Him. It doesn't matter how much sin I have sinned. Allah would always find me if I truly seek Him. And it also reminds me that being a Muslim isn't about where you're born. It's about your heart's journey to the truth. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening to this very first diary entry. If you're interested in learning more about Salman and other companions, please read the book Lessons from the Men and Women Around the Messenger by Khalid Muhammad Khalid. You can get this from any bookstore around you, Islamic bookstore around you. And there is also this Yakin Institute lecture by Dr. Omar Suleiman. If you're interested to, I have put the link in the description box if you're interested. So if this diary indirectly touched your heart, even a little, if it touched your heart, please subscribe and share so others can reflect too. Until next time, inshallah, this is Salman. May your journey always be guided and your hearts always be softened. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.